All right, Andreessen here with the ESUCC and welcoming Craig Hicks of ESU 13 to our conversation as we're going to delve into whole class communication. So how is it that we get a chance to distribute information and relay expectations, norms, those kind of things. And so there's a myriad of different ways that we can do that. And Craig's going to talk through that with us. So Craig, thanks for your time. We look forward to learning from you here.
All right, appreciate it. This communication is a huge deal, whether it's face-to-face with students in the classroom, students remote, or some type of hybrid. Being able to remain connected to students is a really essential element to continue the learning. We'll look at large group communication tools now, and we'll look at some maybe smaller group or individual types of elements in another video in a little bit. But I think that the first one that probably catches my mind and could be, again, something that you're already using, learning management system, whether that's Seesaw in the elementary, and I know there are schools that use Seesaw through K-12, but Seesaw, Canvas, Schoology, Moodle, Google Classroom, probably you could use Google Classroom in connection with the other tools that are part of Google. So the Gmail and some of those things that you can do with groups and email. But being able to communicate across a class or multiple classes so that you can effectively connect with students by basically creating one message and communicating that information to a large group of people. If you're trying to do this on a one-to-one basis, and again, we'll talk about that a little bit later, that's great for, those pats on the back or a little motivation to try to get individuals going. But for most of your communication, you're trying to get information effectively to large groups of people. So that learning management system is a great place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. And for more information on a number of those that you mentioned, from Canvas to Google Classroom to Seesaw or Moodle, we have resources on this site that do a deep dive into how you can best utilize those. A lot of playlists too, with little 2 to 3 minute videos on how to create different, assignments, quizzes, modules, etc. So make sure that you check that out. I want to make that plug here while we're talking about it.
Perfect. Yeah, being able to see those in action, that'll be great to see those playlists as well. Next one, communication apps, and there are a number of these out there. Probably the one that I'm most familiar with or have seen the most widely used is Remind. I know a number of people use Remind, even in a free version, and Andrew gives a thumbs up. There is a paid version that you can do on a district level or school level, but I know a lot of people that take great advantage of just the free one that's available. There are a couple others that I've seen, Casting and Ringya, that are very similar. But again, nice thing about these setup groups, be able to communicate across a large group of people effectively and not become overwhelming to that individual teacher. And the third element in terms of communicating with large groups is that synchronous communication of real-time video conferencing. And the one thing that I will, and this is kind of speaking to teachers, but in terms of using that video conferencing, think connection before content. You can share content in a variety of ways, and there may be times when you want to do some short direct instruction with content in video conferencing format, but maintaining that connection with your students when you can't be in the same classroom at the same time is a huge deal. So video conferencing, again, very nice for maintaining relationships, maintaining that connection with students in a real-time connection. So video conferencing, Zoom and Google Meet are the two primary that are being used across the state. If you're looking for resources, again, I know there's going to be video resources in other playlists that will help you learn how to use those. But again, use that for connection ahead of content.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. Again, those communication apps, there's a page for that on the site. I've used Remind for coaching, for teaching seniors, which has been great. Send a message out 3 hours before the deadline and go in case you forgot, get it submitted. I even use it with my 6-year-old basketball team right now. It's terrific. Video conferencing, as you said, those pieces are there. And thanks for advocating that we let that be a collaborative time. If it's going to be a lecture, it might as well be a video, right? On demand, something you could put into an Edpuzzle, and you can find out how to do that piece on the website that we are sharing here as well. For more on all of these pieces, Craig has been so kind as to share this bit.ly link. And so it's not slides, a typo there. It is a document, but it does give you some more information. So feel free to access that. I want to thank Craig for his time and sharing on whole class communication. And be sure to check out the other videos on this site, on the YouTube playlist that we're putting all these in together with, because we're just here to help out. So I want to make sure that you round out your thinking with all the work that you're doing in this remote space.